The final part of our project is to take our website design and save it as a mobile version that's friendly to an iPhone 6, 7, or 8. Now, in order to do this, we need to convert our layers and document that we're working to into an artboard. If you haven't done so already, go up to File and Save your Photoshop document, and then let's go to Layer, down to New, and choose Artboard. This is going to ask us to give a name for our current artboard, so I'm going to call this our desktop website, and say OK. Notice in your Layers panel that desktop website is now labeled for all of the different layers and sections we've been working on. And just to keep things nice and tidy, I'm going to close everything out for those. Next, we need to make a copy of this and then resize it to the iPhone settings. If you hold down the Option key on a Macintosh or the Alt key on a Windows, when you click on this right icon, this will duplicate all of your layers, and to change the size of it, we can go to our Properties, down to our Artboard, and choose iPhone 8, 7, and 6. Notice that when you do this, it's going to resize your artboard. Now, anything that's inside of it is going to be clipped off, but things that get left outside of it are going to be kind of stuck outside down the bottom here. That's okay. The height of our design, we really don't know, but the width, we're going to keep exactly the same. So click on the bottom edge of this artboard and drag it down, and you can see when you do, it starts to put everything inside of your design. Now again, we don't know the height that is necessary, so I'm going to drag it all the way down until it's more than necessary so that I can build it and move things around. One of the challenging parts of this section is that we need to be able to rearrange everything without necessarily scaling it down to the point where it's not readable. So, because this is modular, we're going to take this one part at a time. To make this easier, since we're moving everything down, and I don't know how far down it needs to go, we're going to start from the bottom edge and then build our way upward. Going into our Layers panel, let's make sure we can only see the copy. I'm going to rename this copy our mobile website. Then I can open it up. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of our mobile website, which is, right here. And I don't need the layer 0 to be visible at all, so I can turn this one off completely if you haven't done so already. Whoop, kind of glitched out for a second. Now we're back. All right, again, let's take this one part at a time. I'm going to start moving things down to the very bottom. Since I'm working in sections, I can open up the section that's necessary and simply drag it down. So I'll put this down here. This will be section 7. And so in my Layers panel, with my selection tool, make sure to choose the group. Let's group that and pull that down to the bottom. Now again, we don't necessarily want to scale everything down. We just want to be able to move things so that they fit nicely inside of this area. So with everything selected and moved down, I'm going to go back to my layer selection, then choose all of my links and slide them over till they fit nicely. That doesn't mean you can't scale some things down. We just don't want to scale anything important like pictures or text that can be hard to read. I will do the logo since it was nice and big to begin with, and that'll buy us a little bit of extra room from here. Got a couple of ellipses that are hanging out off to the side, so I'm going to select those and see if I can drag them into here. Oh, went too far. And that looks good. Moving up to the next part. Again, close out your section. Make sure you're selecting the group of objects. And let's move this down to fit down here. And then we'll also move this to fit. Now you can make things taller. I know I'm not going to be able to fit this scaled down, but I will see if I can make it fit inside of, instead of a rectangle, more of a squared off area. With that resized, I can place my text on top of everything. We'll center it up, maybe even make it a little bit bigger. And then let's choose our 3 different frames and move those into place. As you move things on, you'll notice sometimes things don't necessarily render automatically. This will eventually re-render. It's kind of a little glitch that's known to happen. So if it happens to you on yours, there it goes. Now it'll pop back on and eventually re-render. So that's looking good for this one. Let's move things down just a bit. And now it fits much better. So take this one section at a time. You can see how some things will fit better than others. This one's not rendering at all, so I'm going to completely select it. Let's move it down. Turn on that section. And then all of my pictures here need to be replaced. I'm going to place this one on top of each other, so that will fit nicely there. And then we'll get the other picture and get it to fit nicely on top of it. We'll buy ourselves a little bit of room with this photograph and the rectangle that's underneath it. And I'm going to put my other pictures on top of here. Let's bring down the next section. Make it a little bit taller. And then select all the elements to fit inside of it. All right, with all of the elements in place, resized and reoriented as necessary, the final thing we need to do is to bring our artboard back in line so that it's the correct height for exporting. To turn this in, we're going to export a full version of each of the different artboards. So let's go up to File, down to Export, and choose Export As. We're going to render both of our websites as JPEGs at 1% or 1x scale, 100% scale. Make sure it's set to JPEG. We can bump it all the way up to a high quality JPEG. Everything else will be exactly the same and say Export. Make sure you know where everything is being saved to. In our case, it's in our folder. And finally, those 2 JPEGs are what you're going to upload to the class page as part of your project file. We can go up to File and let's save this one last time. Do not turn in the Photoshop file as your project grade.